Let's talk about your home network. You know, the Wi-Fi you're probably using right now? You might think it's pretty secure, but honestly, there's a really good chance it has some serious holes. So today, we're going to break down exactly why, and then show you how to fix it.
Yeah, that's a pretty bold statement, right? But look, the point here isn't to scare you. It's to show you exactly where those weak spots are and, more importantly, give you a clear, step-by-step playbook on how to lock them down for good.
So before we can start locking things down, we've got to figure out where the unlocked doors and windows are in the first place. Let's take a look at how a normal home network is set up and pinpoint its most common vulnerabilities.
I'm willing to bet this looks super familiar. It's what we call a SOHO network, small office or home office. You've got one box, your router, that does literally everything. It connects your trusted stuff like your computer and phone, but it also connects all those smart gadgets, and then it pushes all of it out to the internet. Super convenient for sure, but it's also one giant single point of failure.
When you look at the risks, they really fall into four main buckets. You've got direct attacks coming in from the internet. You've got sketchy devices that are already inside your home. Then there's the security of your Wi-Fi itself, and, for a lot of us working from home, the connection back to the office. We're going to focus mostly on those first two, because that's where the biggest dangers really are.
All right, to get a handle on that first threat, attacks from the internet, we need to change our perspective for a second. Let's see your network the way an attacker does. To them, you're not a person with a name, you're just a number, a single piece of info that tells them exactly where to find you online.
In that number, it's your public IP address. The best way to think about it is like your physical home address. It's essential for getting things delivered to you online, right? But you'd never, ever post your home address on a public billboard for everyone to see, and you should treat your IP address the exact same way.
So this is the big question, isn't it? Why does this one little string of numbers matter so much? I mean, once a hacker gets their hands on it, what can they actually do? Well, as it turns out, they can do quite a lot, and it's shockingly simple.
The whole process is disturbingly straightforward. First, the attacker gets your IP. Then, they use a free, common tool, something like Nmap, to basically go and knock on every single digital door and window on your network. These are called ports, and they're not looking to break down the door, they're just looking for one that you accidentally left unlocked. And here is a perfect and terrifying example, port 3389. This is the one used for Microsoft's Remote Desktop, which is a feature that lets you control your computer from anywhere else in the world. Super useful, right? But if an attacker scans your network and finds this port wide open to the internet, well, they now have a direct line to try and take over your machine. You never ever want to leave a door like this open.
Okay, so we've seen the threat, it's real. Now let's talk about the solution. And here's the good news. Your router, the one you already have, probably has all the tools you need to defend yourself. You just have to know which buttons to press. Here are 7 things you should go check on your router, like right now.
A lot of this stuff is Security 101, things you've probably heard before, like using a strong password and keeping your firmware up to date. But a couple of these are absolutely critical. Turning off port forwarding and remote management, that basically slams the door shut on those outside attacks we were just talking about. And that last one, disabling WAN ping response, oh, this one's huge. It basically tells your router to just ignore anyone who comes knocking. It makes your whole network invisible to those automated scans. So, you've done all that, you've hardened your router, you're feeling good, you're feeling secure. But what if the call is coming from inside the house? You see, the most effective attacks often don't bother breaking down the front door. They get invited right in. Just think about it for a second. Every single smart device in your home, your TV, your Alexa, those cheap smart light bulbs, they are all constantly talking to servers out on the internet. And your firewall just lets it happen because you're the one who put them on your network. But what happens if a hacker takes control of that cheap smart bulb? Now they have a device inside your walls, and they can use its connection to get a foothold on your network, completely bypassing all those defenses we just set up.
So how in the world do you defend against the threat that's already inside? Well, the answer is to stop thinking of your network as one big open-plan house and to start building some internal walls. This is where we get into next-level security.
The strategy is called network segmentation, and it's brilliant. It lets you use a feature called VLANs to chop your network up into smaller, totally isolated subnetworks. And here's the key. Devices on one network cannot see or talk to devices on another. So if your smart TV gets hacked, the attacker is trapped on the TV network, completely unable to get to your personal computer or your important files on the trusted network.
And this table is a perfect example of how that works in the real world. I love the names here, but it's the principle that matters. You've got a high-trust network called Portkey for your important computers and phones, a low-trust one, Seeker of Truth, for things like Alexa that you trust a little bit, and then a zero-trust network, Horcruxes, for all those cheap random smart gadgets. Each one is a digital island, completely walled off from the others.
Now, let's be real. The router your internet provider gave you probably can't do this. So you basically have two paths forward. There's the DIY route. You can install custom firmware, something like DDWRT, on your current router. It's cheap, but it definitely takes some technical know-how. The other path is to invest in what's called prosumer hardware from brands like Ubiquiti. It costs more, yeah, but it gives you these incredibly powerful enterprise-grade features that are way, way easier to manage.
So after all of this, the big takeaway is pretty clear. We spend so much time worrying about bad guys on the internet trying to break in, but the most dangerous threat might actually be all those smart devices we willingly bring into our homes and connect to our network. Protecting your really important stuff means building walls to keep it separate from everything else.
And that really leaves us with one last, kinda sobering thought. Hackers and bots are constantly, automatically scanning the internet, just looking for an easy target. It is not a question of if your network will get scanned, it's a question of when. So the only real question is, when they come knocking on your digital door, what are they going to find?